Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Hi, Anna. It's lovely to have you here again for our meaningful conversations. How are you today, Anna?
I'm feeling really good. And you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. I'm a little bit hot because I've just been outside for a walk and the temperature is probably about 30 degrees, I think.
Oh, okay. It's a bit cooler in Melbourne today. It was warm the last few days, which is nice. Change in the temperature. Yeah. And I just love when I met Victor Purton. He runs the Center for Optimism, and he said, "Change your question." Australians ask each other, "How are you?" And we say the answer is "so-so" or "not bad."
Yeah.
And that's like when you say "not bad," on your mind, the word "bad" is imprinted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really mean good, right?
No,
And so
that's right.
he said, we should change it to what has been the best thing that happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. I think that message is really strong because it's straight away, it triggered the mind to think about, to look for something good and the best thing. So you go through a whole series of so many good things to choose the best thing. And I really like that.
Yes, that's true. The question. I think the question, how are you, is great. However, the answer that people get accustomed to saying is not so good. It's like, I'm okay, or I'm so-so, or really mediocre answers. And I think, well, it's great to think about your answer and say, I'm well, or I'm very well, or I'm great, or something that also triggers that you do feel good, not that you're just feeling so-so. And it's another thing that we get into the habit of answering in a particular way, like you say. And then that triggers from there on the rest of your feeling and attitude and frequency. So I totally agree. A different question is fantastic. And if you're meeting someone, like in a networking situation, that's a fabulous question. Instead of saying, hi, how are you? Saying, oh, what's the best thing that's happened to you today? That is a wonderful question for networking. So, Anna, what's the best thing that's happened to you today or been in your time?
Now, my brain starts searching, right? My brain starts searching for today. What has been the best thing that happened? It could be the morning session when I run a normal everyday morning session for 30 minutes, very mild exercise together, just to make the body move, make the elements in the body move, and then we generate and renew every single day. And so we got a small group and we do that. And this morning it was so fun when everyone the network was broken a little bit, so the conversation was so kind of awkward, but everyone make it a fun things. We still look at each other, we can see each other and copy each other on the pose and stuff. But how wonderful when the whole group of people taking things at a stride, like, and no one complained, everyone just to make fun of it, and we had such a good laugh. And when you laugh together, the energy, I could feel it over Zoom, but you could feel it. And we got a shot in the end. It was like so good to look back and we say, oh my God, we can make fun of everything. We can make any situation really good if you change the way you look at it. And I'm lucky to be in that team. So everyone seemed to be so optimistic and so hopeful, like everything can be dealt with in a light manner. So we went through 30 minutes and it went like every morning we felt like 10 minutes because it's so fun. Yeah. And so
and you do that online, Anna, do you? Sorry.
Yes, we do that online. We do it on Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah. And
amazing.
It is a good way to kickstart a day. And then from then on, there's so many other things that is good. I cuddle my daughter, welcome her, wake her up, and she'll walk out. And best thing is put her arms around me, mommy. No. Another best thing. Nothing can compare to that.
That's
And
so
she's
true.
growing up so fast. So we're like, oh,
How
I
old
treasure
is she
that.
now?
Day. She just turned 9
Oh, that's so
about a
lovely.
week ago. Yeah, she's
Oh,
precious.
oh,
We've
it
been
is so
friends for the last 9 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 10 years.
yes.
Yeah. What about you? What has been the best thing for you today?
So one of the things for me that's been great is I went for a walk down to the lake and I saw some beautiful swans that had come over to the edge of the lake, and I happened to have some swan food in my bag that I'd taken in case I saw some. So I fed them some food, knowing that our swans in the Gold Coast are in danger of reducing and not having enough food. So I felt really great being able to put some food out for them for when they wanted to come and have something at the edge of the lake. So I threw it down for them. They did run away. They did like swim away when I went over because they're not that tame, but I'm sure they'll come back and find the food later. So that was a really good thing for me. I did
They might
today.
think that you are another swan coming toward them.
And then I also handed out some brochures, which I thought was a good thing to do as well.
Oh, you know, that small act of kindness come with thought, come with a little pay attention and the awareness. So it's not just simple feeding this one, but the whole thought process behind that is adorable. Like I say, small things that is easy to do and easy not to do.
Well, Felicia's on board here, and she knows about she came to the Animal Action Day with Audryn Alternay, and we had the swan people along who saved the swans and look after the swans that have been brought in because they are either they might have a damaged wing or leg, or they've been separated from their parents, the little baby swans. So the swan people who look after them and have places for them to be safe and be fed and recover were there as well. So hi, Felicia, and it's lovely to have you here with us today.
Yes, lovely to have you here too, Felicia.
So she said, yes, we did. Made it. You've said love you, Felicia. So let's talk about our topic today, Anna, and I'm going to get you to start and tell us what you think about the 2 words that we said we were going to talk about for our topic today, hope and belief, and how we achieve our dreams and our goals through those 2 things, having hope and having belief. What do you think about it, Anna? I'd love to hear your views.
I love these 2 words as well. They're so promising. Yeah. For me, hope is when you have a feeling that you have a goal and you can achieve it. You have enough inside of you to go after it. You feel like you have resourceful enough to go towards a goal or a purpose or set a vision, if it is a bigger word for it. So when you feel like you set a goal and you know that you are going to achieve it, then you will act on it. And that is when you feel hopeful. Yeah. The other side of it, the opposite side of it, is to feel hopeless. And that trigger when you have nowhere to go in life. You have the feeling that I don't know my future. My present is full of condition, all the accumulated negative emotion experience through the past to this day, and it conditioned the mind to make you feel hopeless. And it's like a room full of darkness, and there's no light. You can't see the light. Yeah. To see toward the future. That is the opposite of hope. But once you can start filling into your room, you start to turn the light on, start to someone bring the candle in, or you start to look for the light, and then the room will be have a little light, and that gives hope. So that's why I light the candle as a symbol of hope, because it's like the light. The moment you see the light at the end of the tunnel, people act. Yeah, just like when we have a disease, people get told they have a terminated disease or something, and then they say, no hope, you give up. But if you have 1% of hope that it is curable, then you will act on it. And there's a chance that you might be cured and you might get better, you might be well, after the end of the process of treatment. So that is for me, hope. Is that how I understand it? So what about you? And then we will talk about the belief when I would like to hear from you. Yes.
Yes, so hope is such an important thing because, like you say, if we are feeling opposite to hope, then we're operating at a really low frequency. And it's important to remember that the point of power is within us, and what is within us is far greater than anything in our surroundings. So it means that the power of our lives is not in circumstances and conditions outside of ourselves, right? It's not about your boss or your bank account or even how the economy is doing. Each of us has a point of true power within us. And so the next point I want to make about hope is that thoughts become things. Everything is created twice. So if we're thinking in a way of hopelessness, then actually that's what we're going to bring to us. If we're thinking, I can't do it, it's no good, I'm hopeless or the situation's hopeless, then that is what we're going to bring to us. And remember, everything is energy. Everything has a frequency. And therefore, everything is vibrating at different rates. And so we are actually shaping our reality, our situation, our circumstances, our results. We're shaping them by those thoughts that we're holding and energizing over time. So if we're energizing hopelessness, that is what we are. That is what we're bringing to ourselves. So it's super important to have hope for something more, not hopelessness, but hope for something bigger, better, that we would love. And, we do have a capacity to create what we love.
Definitely. Definitely.
It's about learning learning to think from the point of power within us in service of creating what it is that we would absolutely love. Remember, we live in a spiral universe. Our very DNA is spiral, and in this spiral universe, life is everywhere seeking a freer, fuller, expanded expression of ourselves. Know that. The universe wants us to have a freer, fuller, expanded expression of ourselves because we're part of it. So it's important that we know that each and every one of us has a capacity to create something we would love in our lives.
Definitely. I totally can believe. I have that belief because my life is a testament to coming from kind of zero to something. Like, I don't know how the universe spiral to bring us together, but I believe that our upbringing would be totally different. Like I remember the days when I can't remember, maybe 1997, 1998, 1979, when Vietnam was like totally closed away from the rest of the world. The US put the embargo after the war, and then my area of this town was flooded. So we have no food, no rice. And I remember waking up, lying on the floor, dirt floor, and open my eyes and ask my mom, is there any food? So there are days like that. And there are three of us, 3 kids. And my mom would say, oh, we haven't got anything. And then we would just say, oh, we sleep through the famine and hunger. And then, however, there's a moment in that, one of the wake up moments, and I felt myself just zoom out and look down and see myself and my brothers. Like some part of me that could looking down looking down to the three little people. And then there's that detachment. And it looked down and say, oh, you three are going to be okay. Somehow
Wow.
that part of me is saying, you're going to be okay. Tomorrow will be better. Somehow I say that to those three. And that moment really is like later on when I approached coaching, and I realized that was my defining moment, that I didn't let go. My little cell, something in me that is not changed over time. Do you feel that you have something inside of you that doesn't change, doesn't age? And that part can be able to zoom out and look down and say, in a few years, it will be okay. And it's so true. Now I'm here living in this world. I go walking down the street and I say, I'm so grateful. I have everything under my fingertip. I have meal, I have everything, and I have more than enough. And because of that belief, it's just amazing sense of knowing that the future will be better. And
Wow.
it's true that by the time we get to my sister was born in 83. After that, our family is picking up and the economy opened up, and my dad had job and my mom opened up a restaurant, and then life is getting better from there. And then I get to the universities, through struggle, but we get here. And then I remember so many moments like that when you can just zoom out and look down at yourself and see that the future will be better. Whatever happened in the past to that point, we survive. If you survive, you're alive, you can keep going and make a better future. Yeah, so I can totally hear what you're saying. When you believe the world will spiral, and you can choose to spiral up, right? You can choose that. I'm so excited that you brought up that memory. You just triggered that memory in my mind in this conversation. Yeah.
It's amazing, Anna, that you've had those experiences. Many of us have not been in that situation, I'm sure, where we've been so hungry and there's been no food, particularly as children. So you've had such a huge change in your life from then to now. It's incredible, really, to see what you've been through and where you've come to, and how you can see and be so grateful now because you've got that comparison of that huge difference. And it's a great reminder for us, if we haven't had a comparison of such a huge difference, that we still want to acknowledge what we're grateful for. We just because we haven't had a situation in our life where we may have been starving, hungry, and not had enough food, let alone anything else, any of the comforts of our basic human needs.
I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. For some reason, the universe spiral in the way that I was just born into that situation. My brother and sister were born into that situation. But at the same time, the whole thing moved. The universe moved, not just us. Like the decision, the U.S. government decided to lift the embargo, and that is the move that is. I'm not sure whether it's in anyone's control, and then you are in it together. You spiral up. So my mom used to say, as long as you are alive, you can make it.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic.
That's it.
And did your
that
mum and
simple
dad
belief.
Sorry,
what did you say?
Did you all come over, your parents as well, to Australia?
No, just me. I came out to study, and then I got married to my husband, and I am the only one who come here. The rest are back in Vietnam, and they're good. They're quite successful career wise and settle in Vietnam, and they don't want to come out here. But when I came out here in 2004, I fell in love with the country straight away. I felt it like my country. So I love the nature. I love the serenity of everything. Yeah, and I love the quietness of Brisbane and then Melbourne. When I came to Melbourne, I love the weather. I love the season. I love the 4 seasons so much that because I didn't know. Growing up in Vietnam, we have hot season and hot season. So I didn't know any different. So when I come to the fall season, I was like,
Wow.
that's so romantic. It's so lovely.
Yeah, and it is interesting, as you say, comparison. Comparison. If you don't have the opposite or something
Yeah.
different, then you have no variety and you have no comparison. And it's actually a great thing to have seasons. It's wonderful because you don't appreciate one as much unless you have the opposite, and then you go, oh well, I like this better, or I like that better, and you can really appreciate. We've got some more guests on here. We've got
Which is
two.
student. Yeah.
Tu has come on
Hello.
as well. Hi, Tu. Wonderful to have you here.
Lovely.
So
When you
let's
talk about the weather,
yes.
yeah, sorry. I'm
Yes, Anna.
excited and I couldn't help.
No,
When you
go on.
talk about the weather, I often love the winter. It's like the time when hope is required. You know, when you feel someday it's so dark and someday it's cold, and you feel, I know in a few months the spring will come, flower will bloom. You know, when you look at the trees, they're lost on their leaves. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. They just, reserve their sap and they life happening underneath that everything. And then just you wait until the moment come when the weather's right, the warmth of the weather come, everything will be blooming. And I just love that as a metaphor of hope and belief. Through COVID, that's what I look at to hold on to the belief, say, this is just a winter, a short winter. And then I look back at history of all these things that happened in the 17th century, and I see they go through the phases and they will come out. Even Hiroshima, bomb,
Yes, I do.
people still come out, and the area is still blooming. So there's always the future if you just keep well and stay positive, and life will be good at the end of the tunnel.
That's so true. I love that analogy too of like winter and then spring, and from winter and then everything bursts into life. And spring, you get your beautiful little shoots coming out of the trees or the branches, and you get flowers, spring flowers. And it's a beautiful time of reset for every, in nature. And we can learn a lot by nature when we look at nature and all the things that go on, and in the foliage and the trees and the plants and the sea, and the animals, and we can learn a lot from nature. And it's very parallel. It's a very parallel situation between the human race and, of course, the rest of nature. So let's talk about now that we've talked. Well, let's talk a little bit more about hope, and then we'll flick over to belief. So what happens, do you think, Anna, when somebody learns to have hope about a situation, or how does one start to have hope about a situation that maybe they feel, they feel a overwhelm, or that it's a hopelessness about something? How can someone change that to experience the opposite, to have that contrast from hopelessness to hope? Have you got some more ideas on that?
That's such a great question. How can someone change? First of all, they have to want to change.
True.
Right? They've got to want to. Sometimes we get addicted to that feeling. You live in that so long that you just want to be in it.
Yeah. Be a victim. Some people love to be a victim. You're right.
Yeah. You feel comfortable because that's your comfort zone. And I can see that sometimes we get angry and we just like to stay in that anger because it's kind of like, it's nice to stay in that anger. Or it's just, sometimes it's nice to pretend to be weak and to get, secondary gain. So it depends. If the person doesn't know that by staying in the negativity to gain love or to gain attention, it's not really an effective way of doing it. There's a much more effective way to gain whatever they want to gain, get attention, get respect, or get loved, or, is the way you express yourself. There's a better way to express yourself. And people like to be with positive people. People like to be with hopeful people. People would like to be with the light. We are attracted to the light. If you're no one attracted to the darkness, you might be addicted to it, but no one really feel attracted to it for a long time. So
Mm,
first of all, I think the person have to want to get out of that. If
mm,
they don't want to, nothing can do. No one. God cannot help. Even God cannot move them out to that. So the person have to want it. And once they want it, there's always a way. There's always a way. Like I used to borrow the strength from somebody else. I used to borrow the belief from somebody else. You know, follow someone who is a hopeful, follow someone who know the way. And then when I get enough strength in myself, I can, traveling, keep pushing forward bit by bit. And that is my strategy for myself anyway. Every time I hit the darkness, hit the challenges, I'll say, okay, I run out of sources now. I run out of fuel now. So let's just go and find somebody else. Hold on to their hand. Yeah. And then after a while, they pull you out, or, they give you one perspective. Maybe you just need someone to give you a perspective. Just look at it from different angle. Or maybe just give you an ear, listen to your emotions so you can have a outlet, release that emotion. And it's like yin and yang. If you are so down, you go down, 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 down. You hit rock bottom, no way to go down further. You have to bounce back up. Yeah, just like that. Life, I think energy moves like that. Apart from the source of wisdom inside, of consciousness that doesn't change. It doesn't change no matter what. It doesn't change over time. That's the truth elements of us that Eckhart Tolle normally talk about. Yesterday, I listened to Q&A from him with the world, and he's talking about that, and I can see, I can feel it. I can feel that sense of the ocean beneath the waves, and it's always stable. It's there, unchanged over time and space. Yeah. So what about you? What did you think?
So I thank you, Anna. That's so true. Every point you've made. And so what I want to add to that is it's wonderful to have an understanding of the importance of having dominion over the vibration that we're transmitting. So that's the key to really being a vibrational match to what you want in your life. And therefore, when you're focusing on what you would love, you've got hope towards that. So there's one way that we can do that if we're feeling other than hopeful, inspired, motivated, and that's called generating state. So I invite you to learn how to generate state, and it's simple. It's really super simple. What you want to do is think about something that you're grateful for and one thing that you are proud of. What are you grateful for this last week, and what are you proud of yourself about? And when you do that, you actually generate a state in which you have raised your vibration. And so I'm teaching you this so that you can understand the importance of having dominion over the vibration that we're transmitting. Like you said, Anna, if you want to stay in that hopeless, overwhelmed, unhappy, victimized state, that's a choice, because everything in our life is a choice. Everything is a choice. And so it's a matter, actually, the most important thing for us is to notice what we're feeling like, to notice the frequency that we're in, because it is reflected by our feelings and emotions, and to notice what we're thinking about. So if I notice the thoughts I'm thinking, maybe it's already progressed to a feeling tone, how I'm feeling. So if I notice either the thoughts I'm thinking or the feelings I'm experiencing, for example, if I'm feeling expansive or if I'm feeling contracted, then I can do something about them. So our goal is to have an expansive vibrational tone. That will give you hope, or that will be in hope, that is in harmony with a life that we absolutely would love to be living. So are going from a vision-driven vibration. So it all comes back to having that vision of where you want to be, you know, who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have in your life. A vision-driven vibration. So we can change our vibration by creating that vision. And those of you who work with me know that this is the number one thing that we work with very, very much, is having that crystal clear, specific, detailed vision in writing of where you want to be, what it is you would love in your life in a few years. And it doesn't have to take that long, by the way. It's just that we create it for a few years' time to keep the part of us that will come up and give us negative reasons why we can't achieve it because we haven't done it already. So we put it out a little bit to keep that part of us, that chatterbox part of our brain quiet, so it doesn't bring up objections straight away. So you want an expansive vibration, not a condition-driven vibration, because a condition-driven vibration would be one of contraction, which comes from feelings that we would label as fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, overwhelm. Anything on that spectrum is condition-driven. So we use a template of gratitude to practice generating a vision-driven vibrational state by doing that, what I mentioned, creating state, naming one thing that we're grateful for, and adding to that one thing that we're proud of. Because the proud has two purposes. First, it expands and turns up the volume of the vibration of gratitude. Did you know that? Being proud of something turns up the volume of the vibration of gratitude. It amplifies it. And the other purpose is that it acknowledges that part of us, the part of us that is in the human form, that is actually taking the action step. It acknowledges that part of us, because when we think of something we're proud of, it's something we've done. It's an action that we've taken. So it's not a given that we'll take this action. We have the gift of free will. Everyone, like I said, has a choice in everything, which means that we get to discern or decide if we'll actually do if we'll actually do the action that's going to help us create the results. Is that clear?
Yeah, I love the 3 words that you use. It's really powerful. The power-driven vibration.
Vision-driven vibration.
Vision. Purpose-driven. Vision-driven vibration.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you know how to take someone from one, spectrum, end of the spectrum to the other. However, I find a lot of people believe that they can't get out of whatever that they feel. And sometimes when they talk to someone who know how to take them there, sometimes you just need one question and it could change the whole dynamic of our focus, because we always focus on running away from what we don't want. And so our energy focuses so much on what we don't want. We see it clearly because that is what's happening. It's happening. It's there inside of us. So we focus on that whole block of energy. And we say, this is what I know. So I focus on that. And I want to run away from that. And sometimes you need to talk to someone and that person just need to ask you, okay, now you know so well what you don't want. Look at what you really want. Turn around. Don't look at what you don't want anymore. Turn around. Look at what you want. And what you want is open up the whole space ahead of us. Yeah. The whole world ahead of us. The world is, the possibilities endless. You can pick one thing. What do you want? You want a better health? Do you want a better relationship? Do you want a better, peaceful? Do you want to head somewhere, small goal? Do you want more money? Just focus on that, what you want. And I think what you said, I like the vision-driven vibration. It just say, that is the future. I focus on that.
Mm.
And straight away, the vibration change and shift. I totally love what you said. And especially that point. Thank you so much, Karen.
That's really the critical secret, you know, it's where the magic is, the vision of what we would love in our lives, putting aside our perceived limitations, putting aside outside situations and circumstances that we think we might need to be able to achieve that, putting aside all of that, like magic, you know, the magic is in the metaphysical world. And so learning this work, learning how to do this and putting it aside and creating that beautiful vision of what we would love in our lives, if it was like somebody waved a magic wand for us, is just so powerful. So powerful. So we've only got a little bit more time, Anna. Let's talk about belief. Have you got anything to add on belief, having belief in achieving your vision or achieving your dreams or achieving your goals?
Just 2 days ago, I heard a story someone told about this a monk, and he's testing his disciple to see how they understand their understanding of the Dharma. And he say, now you got a garden. Your garden is full of wheat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Each of us come to this space with bringing a garden, you know, that internal garden full of wheat. So, and he asked 3 disciples, what is your way of getting rid of the wheat? And then one person say, I'll pull it out bit by bit, diligently pull it out, and I guard my garden. And the second one say, I will pesticide it, right? I do quicker, it's faster. And somehow he says, I'll have to pesticide it. The other one say something like, I have to keep guarding my garden. I have to dig deep, take the whole root out, because otherwise they would come back. And then he said nothing. And then the monk didn't answer the question. He just left the disciple. Okay, now I give you some wheat, and you go away and take care of your garden for, you know, a real garden. Planted the wheat and take care of the garden for a few months. And then 6 months later, he passed away before the 6 months came. But he looked after his own garden. And all the 3 disciples go and check the garden of the monk, the teacher, and they see their gardens was okay. Some have wheat, some have little, some have more, some have less. But they go and check their teacher garden, and the teacher garden is full of flowers, fruit and vegetable. So that is belief. The belief is you got to plant what you want and believe that you will harvest it. Yeah, harvest the fruit, harvest the flowers, whatever you want. Plant them. Don't worry about get rid of the wheat. There's no room for the wheat to grow. You know, just like the room is so dark, you don't take the darkness out. You bring the light in. You turn the lights on, right? Mm-hmm. It's easier. It's easier that way. Plant some things that you want for your life. In a few years, you will harvest. 6 months, you harvest some, tomatoes and flowers. So there's very little room, or hardly any room left for that garden. And so that is the message. And I like to think about that story as belief. Belief is something you think about. You think about a wonderful plan, go for it, do it, find a way, decide and go and do it. Mm. And when you see the future, you know that it's going to happen. You expect it's going to happen. That's it, period. Mm. And for me, that is belief. Otherwise, you would think back to the past and you look through your failure, you would check, you think, or all the mind was just rambling on with all these thoughts. Mm-hmm. And that was just the past. Right now, we can decide and go for the future and believe in that picture. The vision, you say vision-driven vibration. And to me, that's belief.
That's beautiful, Anna. Thank you so much. And you talked about
Thank you.
expected, and we actually covered that with Tu and I covered that in our session this week, where we talked about two things for was it, maybe it wasn't Tu and I, but we talk about two things for bringing the law of attraction into effect. And one is a burning desire. No, it was our last night's session. One is a burning desire for what we want, right? You can't attract what you want or create that life or have that life if you've just got a mediocre kind of sort of, oh yeah, I quite like that. Okay, you have to have this burning love affair with what you're creating, with your vision, because otherwise there's not enough rocket fuel to propel you past all your perceived limitations. That's what the reality is. So you've got to have a burning desire for this. You've got to find out what it is you would absolutely love to be, do, and have in your life. And then the other part of the law of attraction is a grateful expectation that it will occur, because if you don't have that vibration, it won't marry up with the desire to bring to you what it is you would love. So that's fantastic. I love, and like you said, our thoughts are thought seeds. What we plant is what we will grow. So you can't grow, if you plant a lemon tree seed, you're not going to get an orange tree. You're going to get a lemon tree, right?
Definitely.
And if you nurture it and keep it fresh and keep it watered and keep it with beautiful food for the tree, it will grow into a very, very healthy tree, and it will be able to stave off any bugs or any mold or anything like that when it's very, very healthy. You know, our thoughts are exactly the same. Is that when we have thought seeds that are for good, for wonderful things, and we nurture those and we focus on those and we think about those, then we will nourish those creations into reality, as opposed to seeds of the opposite that we don't want. So I just want, before we go, I want to touch on something else in believing. Is the importance of, if you create this desire or this vision of your life that you haven't got yet, and you've got a little bit of doubt, okay, it's really important to work with other people who are what we call in the coaching business and my coaching world, partners in believing. Find other people who are going to encourage you because they believe in you being able to achieve and reach your dream. They believe in you. Don't talk to people who tell you that, oh, I don't think you can do that because I know someone who tried that and they failed. In fact, you know what we also say is be very careful who you share your dream with. Because you'll get the people like the tall poppy syndrome. You'll get the people who think they're helping you. Family are often these people they know who failed or had a bad experience, and it's not a good idea for you. So be very careful who you give that baby to share with and to cuddle and hold. Because treat your dream like a new baby. Only share it with people you know believe in you and will be a partner in believing for you.
Definitely. Yes. Believe got to be 100%, because just a tiny little hole, the balloon would be deflated. Just 91% of doubt will deflate the whole balloon of belief. So it's got to be 100%. Got to be full on, forward. Then no turning around. Yeah.
So let's have a look at, thank you, Anna. Let's have a look at what Felisa and Tu have been saying. So Felisa said, that's how I feel once in a while being a solo entrepreneur, because it's a lonely journey doing your dreams by yourself. So she was talking about earlier. And, you know, you do have a lot, you're not on your own, Felisa. You have a huge community now that you're part of with Edward's Ear. And in my community and in my ladies networking group with Moana. So you're not alone at all. Please know that. Now you are not alone ever again. And it's great for us to share our entrepreneurial journey together. And Felisa also said, I have my business and still working on it myself, and I'm still keeping that dream alive. Yes, that's fabulous. You want to keep that dream alive and focus on it instead of focusing on any challenges that come up. And I think did Tu say anything else? Are you still there, Tu? Have you got any questions or comments before? Tu says hello. Lovely ladies. So, and Anna, you've said keep the dream alive, Felisa. Yes, so do keep it alive. And if you want any help with that, we're both here. Reach out to us both on LinkedIn, or if you have any other contact method. Fabulous to have you here. Fabulous to have you, Anna. This will probably be our last session for 2023 because I'm going away next week. So I'm looking forward to having a break in New Zealand, and I'll talk to you about that when we get offline, Anna. So everyone have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and New Year.
Wonderful
Everyone
year.
who watches this, I hope it's been helpful for you to learn about having hope and having belief and how important those two vibrational frequencies are.
Thank you, Felisa. Thank you,
Thank
too.
you, Lisa, and thank you too for coming on. So
Yeah,
I'll end
I think
now.
that's it for now. Goodbye and have a great Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. And 2024 is going to be great.
Thank
Even greater.
you. Thank you,
Goodbye.
Anna. Likewise.